Hey, welcome back to the channel. This episode, we are going to be talking about the Sacramento Kings first round pick and moves that they need to make to fill out the roster. If you haven't already, please hit the like and subscribe down below. Be greatly appreciated. Let's get us up to 40 followers. We got 35. Let's get a couple more. Let's go. All right, let's get right to it. So the Kings last night, they picked Devin Carter out of Providence. How do you feel about that pick?
Hey everyone, Bridget here. I think along with most of Kings Nation, was hoping that we weren't going to be making a draft last night. That 13th pick seemed like it could have gone a long way in terms of making a trade this offseason. Get another team who maybe doesn't have youth that needs a high draft pick to leverage that 13th pick and get someone that we need with a little bit more more in their prime time play right now. So with that being said, I'll kick it back to you. How do you feel, BJ, about this pick?
I'm not very happy. They already have 4 guys who are 6'3" and below at the guard position, guard heavy. Everyone's saying, oh, he's going to be taking Davion Mitchell's spot. Well, here's the problem. Him and Davion Mitchell are like the same height. They're the same player. In college, they both shot 45, 46%, and people saying he's a better shooter than Davion. Numbers don't look like that. They look like they're the same person. And to me, people are saying, oh, he's got a 6'8" wingspan. To me, that doesn't really mean anything. He's still not going to be able to guard, like, say, a Kyle Kuzma or a Brandon Ingram, because they're just going to be able to shoot over the top of them. They raise up. His hand's not going to be in their face. So, cool, 6'8". He's a good rebounder. He averages 9 rebounds a game, which that's a plus. That's good. But I don't really like it that much, and it's going to limit now. I feel like how they can do trades because they don't have that 13th pick that, like you're saying, people would be, which was seems like highly, but I don't. I'm not in their draft room, so I don't know what was going on, what was options here or there. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of it, but as we've seen, there's other people that love it. Bleacher Report gave the Kings an A for their pick. And I think Monte's known to take the best player available, the BPA. That's what he does. Like every draft, and you have to give him credit. He does that every year. He says it and he does it. He takes the BPA of every draft. Whoever's the best available, that's who he takes, whether it's a guard, forward. I just don't like how it was a guard again. He's only drafted one forward in his drafts, and that was Keegan.
Yeah.
But in Monte we trust, they say.
Yeah, and congratulations to all the players who were in the draft last night and ended up with a home. I mean, a huge night for all of those players.
Yeah.
And I think I speak on behalf of the Kings fans when I say, welcome to Sacramento, Devin. We're hoping that you find your home here and that you are, a great addition to the team. And we're going to give him that opportunity to show us who he is. All reports say he's got a unmatched work ethic. So you love to hear that. Love to see kind of what role he plays on the team when it comes to chemistry and, where he's just going to fit in with his play. I know they were saying he's fast. I think he set a record in the combine for one of the speed measurements. And
yeah,
if he's fast and we've got Fox on the court, that could really increase the speed of the game for our opponents. So, maybe that's something that they're seeing and they want to go in that direction.
Here's the problem, though. You can't have him, Fox, and Monk on the court at the same time.
Right.
Because then you got 3 guys that are 6'3" and shorter.
No, yeah, he would be an alternate. I mean? You'd probably have 2 of them on the court at any given point.
Yeah. And that's what I've seen a lot is if he's on the court, you have to have either Fox or Monk on the court. And
Right.
I heard he's not really much of a point guard. He's more of an off guard. So Monk will be taking over that backcourt point guard. But here's the problem again, though. You still got Keon. So where do those four? That's my thing. Like, where do those
Yeah.
four come in? How do they play?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a Mike Brown question, I think. That's why he's getting paid those big bucks he signed on for, right? But that being a Mike Brown question, we've got questions for Monte, and
Yeah.
based on his based on his press conference last night after the draft, he did make the comment, off season's not over. So
Yeah.
it does sound like he is still looking at moves. I know it was reported that Sam Amick, actually from The Athletic, mentioned this morning that he was watching the draft and looking at what could be going on outside of picks. And so he said,
Mm-hmm.
the Kings were super active, and
Yeah.
leading up to the Kings pick, he was convinced that the Kings were not going to be making that 13th pick, that they had a trade in the works, and lo and behold,
Yeah.
pick. So a couple of episodes ago, you and I had a conversation about moves that the Kings can or should make.
Yeah.
I brought some names to the table. My two names were Levine and Bridges. Caruso was kind of a package deal with
Mm-hmm.
Zach Levine. And as we saw, Caruso was one of the first ones to
And
get traded. So,
and there was talk that it was Caruso for the 13, and OKC picked
right.
Caruso, or the Bulls picked the OKC over
Yeah.
Big Giddy
The,
over
the
13.
deal.
Yeah.
Right. So we don't really know what that means with Zach Levine, where that lands him. Mikal Bridges was my other pick that I brought to the table, and he was the next one to go. So his deal's been done. He's going to the Knicks, and
He's going
they
to
got a great
the
player there.
yeah, he's going to the what is it, the New York, Connecticut, or whatever they're calling them.
Yeah, back to his old
Or
college.
no, the Villanova Knicks.
Yeah. Um, sorry. So BJ, you had Kuzma is still your number one, right?
Yeah, oh for sure. I think he's a bunch of Kings number one. Like
Yeah.
that's the basic number one.
Valanciunas, you had mentioned, was part of trade talks. It does sound like the Lakers are interested in him,
And that
which
that
is
makes
a weird
sense.
fit.
Yeah,
So I haven't seen him connected with any Kings talk
yeah,
lately.
yeah. I haven't really heard much of him lately. It was just one day I was listening and they had mentioned him. But like I think I mentioned it before. I think it would be. I'm not a huge fan of it. I mean, he is a bruiser, but the problem is one of the reasons Dumas left Indy is because they wanted him to play the four, and he didn't want to play the four. They wanted Miles Turner was their five, and Dumas just feels more comfortable at the five. He doesn't want to play the four. So
Yeah,
that's the one thing with Valanciunas is they'll move Dumas to the four, and he's mentioned it in the past. He doesn't like playing the four.
right. So a couple of their names are coming up in trade talks with the Kings right now: Cameron Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith.
Yeah.
Not huge names,
No.
but we're looking at filling in this roster a little bit more, maybe giving a little bit more of a, like I said, prime time player,
Yeah.
someone who's in their prime, not super, super young.
It's just gonna be interesting now that because since they don't have that 13th pick,
Yeah,
how are they gonna package? Because that 13th pick was huge, and now that they made that pick already, what's the package gonna look like? Like there's three names we can basically guarantee: Herter, Barnes, and Mitchell. Because of the pick, he's basically gone. And I like the guy. It's just he just
right.
didn't fit on he really doesn't fit now on this team. So it's it's like he said last night, it's beginning, the offseason's still going, but it's a lot to be done. And you know what? There may even be a surprise. Like there may be a surprise out there that, whoa, how'd they get him?
I was hoping for a surprise last night.
And
But
as
I
you
guess
know,
we'll just stay on standby.
yeah, and as you guys can tell, I have a different background. I was flying yesterday, so on my flight, luckily we had a Wi-Fi, so I was watching the draft as I was in the air, and I was like, "Come on, Kings, make a trade, make a trade."
I had all my alerts set. I'm waiting for like an ESPN alert to come through or something on like the Kings Instagram. Didn't
Yeah,
happen. So
and nothing. So who knows? Let's hope they can make a trade. But I mean, let's be honest, they have to make a trade because they're guard heavy. Unless they're playing in the 6'5" and under league that we don't know of, they're going to be in trouble when it comes to height.
yeah, and after last season not making moves like a lot of fans were
Yeah,
hoping we were gonna make, I don't think that Monte McNair is gonna see running this team back with our
no,
13th pick
mm-mm,
as a viable option.
no. And
Um,
that's like I've said before until I bloom in the face. They can't play a team that has height. They just get ran out the gym when they play a team with height.
yeah,
Like playing the Nuggets, they would get screwed. They have no one to guard Aaron Gordon, Porter. It's like Jokic. It's like they're just height on height on height, and that's why again the Pelicans went 5-0 against the Kings because of height. That's another. There is another one from the Pelicans who the Kings have been kind of linked to is Brandon Ingram. He's kind of a name that's been thrown around.
yeah, yeah. That's a name that's been thrown around. He would be a huge get.
Yeah, if he could stay on the court.
Yeah,
And the other problem is it's contract year, so would he only be a rental for a year? So that's one of the other things. But
right.
he'd be
And
big.
what do you have to give up for potentially 1 year
Yeah,
with that player?
exactly.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of questions left. Yesterday just added to the questions instead of answering questions. It just added
yeah.
more questions to the questions.
That's a good point because I definitely went into yesterday thinking today's going to be the day we're going to get some answers. We're going to know have a much better idea of what this team's going to look like moving
Yeah.
forward. And I think after our draft pick, as highly rated as it's been,
Mm-hmm.
with all experts, everything, everyone has such good things to say about that pick. It does leave us just wondering
Yeah.
still.
Like
It's
what's
it
next? Like we're still short in the forward position. Like what's the next move?
right.
And I mean, there's still draft picks tonight, so we'll see what happens with tonight. Maybe there are some moves tonight with the picks. They have almost two back-to-back picks
Yeah.
tonight.
And
I think they're like,
the first time they're splitting up the draft this way.
yeah,
So, it is definitely kind of a different feel, different layout. So I
and
guess you're right. We still have some, potential for action to happen tonight. And then of course free agency opens up on Friday or
yeah,
tomorrow too. So you know, there's gonna be a lot of movement in the NBA, I think, in the
yeah.
next
And
few
there's
days.
there's a bunch of surprises that happened like in this first round with Edie going to the Grizzlies, which I don't think matches them at all. They're an up and down team, and he's kind of an old school center who he got worn out in college when
Mhm.
they played full court. He just couldn't last because he didn't have the stamina.
Right.
But so there's a lot of things. That, where does Bronny James go? Does he get drafted? Does he get drafted by the Lakers? It's
Does that
there's
matter at all? Like,
yeah,
is he gonna get
like,
any playing time regardless of where
yeah.
he goes? Like, yeah.
So there's still a lot of
I'm more
questions.
interested in that if the Lakers draft him, just to see like how far they are gonna let LeBron run this team.
Yeah, because they got his best friend, got his friend Reddick, who they say, oh, LeBron had nothing to do with it, but it was more about Davis. Yet Davis or Reddick doesn't really like Davis because like he didn't put him in like all defensive team or anything like that. And it's like, oh, so all these things they were saying about they were going to build it around like Anthony Davis, the next coach. Yet Reddick is everything anti Anthony Davis. So that's gonna for once the Kings aren't the team that are the laughing stock of the NBA.
Right. And I'm more than happy for the Lakers to be that team.
Yeah. And there was a lot of talk if Bronny goes to the Lakers, what's he going to call LeBron on the court? Is he going to say, Daddy? Hey, Daddy,
I don't
scream.
I don't think they'll ever touch the court together, honestly.
I don't know.
Unless it's for they're not playing for anything in the end of the season and it's essentially exhibition. They're doing it to sell tickets because they
Yeah.
have no chance of making the playoffs. Potentially, yeah.
I just think Bronny James' best choice was to stay in college
Yeah.
to get better, have a healthy offseason. But hey, you know what? You do you.
Yep.
I'm here. You're there. Go. You do you. I'll gladly trade him spots. But yeah, so it's gonna be interesting tonight, day 2 draft. What the Kings do? Are they able to make a move with those 2 draft picks? Do they
Right.
move back? Like what do they do? But you have a couple slides that we were thinking about of some names for the
Yeah. So we're thinking of going official, making a name for this podcast. So we've got some options here on the screen.
what do you guys think is the best?
We've got sibling rivalry sports, very simple BB, Bridget and Billy sports podcast, and Sac sibling sports. Maybe news. I don't think it's news to any of you that we're brother and sister.
Oh, high school, not a lot of people somehow knew that. Don't know how they didn't put one and one together, but okay then. I mean, we are completely opposites when it comes to school, so I can kind of understand. Teachers that hated me loved you, hated you loved me. So
yeah, well, PE wasn't my strong suit. So.
yeah, any subject, any subject in school where you had to think was not my strong suit. So, but let us know what you guys think. Which one do you think is the best? We'll go this sibling A, BB Sports B, and the SAC sibling Sports C. Let us know
Yeah,
down below.
let us know in the comments.
Yeah, comments. Don't forget to hit the if you like what you're hearing, hit the like and subscribe. Let's get up to 40 subscribers. We got a couple more last. Until the next episode, we'll see you guys on the other side.